Welcome to Saray Wealth. I'm Scott Hefty, Senior Wealth Manager here on our team, and I'm joined with Joe Anderson, my partner, and also Senior Wealth Manager with Saray Wealth. This is our Think in Decades series. It's our perspective series where we talk about making sure we have values instilled in our money and a transitional plan for how to make sure we instill that Think in Decades mindset that brings just a clarity and confidence to our financial situation. And today we want to talk about relationships and alignment and how that becomes an important piece of our overall financial strategy.
Yeah, Scott, relationships and finances can be complicated, and this becomes even more apparent when your family grows and you get married or you have a spouse and you're combining those finances, right? Each person has a different perspective on money and views money differently, not only through their upbringing and their background, kind of what money meant to them growing up, whether they were affluent or they were not so much, but simultaneously the values that were instilled in them throughout their early years. And we see often that individuals don't have an open dialogue around how they view their finances and their money, which is why we find it so important that they have that clarity, that they have that open conversation together.
Yeah, I mean, family wealth dynamics become a really important conversation. You know, for us at Saray Wealth, we talk time and time again about having family meetings and making sure our children and grandchildren understand our financial picture and where they fit in, right? And that's a hard conversation to start if we're not even aligned as a married couple, and making
Right.
sure we have that framework for that meets in the middle and we understand the differences and experiences and how we are pulling in the same direction together. Yeah,
Exactly.
what else are things that people need to think about when we're thinking about this relational alignment dynamic?
Well, by opening up that dialogue, by having that conversation, you immediately have fewer assumptions. You're not assuming different things are being done or executed. You know that those things are being done. That can be through systematic savings. That could be through agreements on various goals that you might have in the future and how you want to accomplish them. When you want to retire. All of these things are pieces you should at least have conversations around. Otherwise, they're just they're left up to assumptions, and assuming things is never the most proactive strategy. So I always encourage my clients to not only have that open conversation and create that dialogue, but really discuss what money means to them directly. And usually that feeds back, as I mentioned, to their upbringing, their parents, and just the tangible experiences that they've had. Maybe they've gone through a probate court situation because they lost a loved one and they had to experience the painful, costly, expensive situation that is probate court. Maybe you've seen the repercussions of that even from a relationship standpoint with your family members after an event like that happens. By creating this open dialogue while you're alive and well, not only with your spouse, but your family members, you can really ensure that there's confidence and clarity around what that next stage is.
Yeah, I think people don't realize this, but so much of our perspective on money comes from our past experiences and some of the good and negative things that have come from it. To your point, different probate situations or whatever these types of formative experiences people have with money, and they're often very different when we're
Yes.
looking at a couple. And so where do we find that alignment there is an important is a question that we need to make sure we find in order to build a compounding success when it comes to our wealth creation.
Exactly. Alignment brings direction. Direction feeds action. And then the action ultimately gives them the clarity and the ability to seize opportunities as they arise. How often have we seen individuals who are hoping to maybe buy a second home or a property, but they didn't have cash on hand or the ability to actually seize that piece when it presented itself? You never want to lose out on an opportunity just because you weren't proactive in doing the right things along the way. And maybe that opportunity isn't clear right now, but what we see is most individuals will save into two locations. They have their savings account and maybe their retirement account. What they really miss is creating the flexibility to do things in between. You want your cash to grow, but maybe not for opportunities today or tomorrow where you need it protected in a cash style account. If you want to retire early, you can't access those dollars until you're 59 and a half in a retirement style account. But by setting these goals and expectations, these hopes and dreams that you have today, by taking that action and by having that alignment, taking that action through that direction, you're able to actually accomplish the things that you want well before you probably expected you could. Thank you for joining us. We're honored to be part of your journey as you think in decades.